let's get me on some gear, dude. Let's get me some Winstrol, Deca.
Oh, you're not already on some shit?
Nah, man.
When I came in today, you had a kind of a chest pump going.
Fucking look at that shit, dude.
Maybe you did some push-ups before I got in
No
here.
joke. Look at this shit. Huh? Can you hook me up? You got the hookup?
This is a really interesting topic, you know, because I've been on performance enhancing drugs for like 20 plus years. I forgot to celebrate with my birthday cake that was going to have 20 syringes in it, but
It's fucking awesome.
you know, Louis Simmons had a great statement about steroids. It was really interesting. He was my mentor. He ran the strongest gym in the history of the world, Westside Barbell. Louis Simmons said, "I didn't create steroids. I'm just smart enough to use them." And I always thought that was like an
That's
interesting.
what I'm fucking talking about.
I know. I always thought that was really interesting. But you know, when it comes to making the leap into that,
Yeah.
it's an interesting thing because I almost don't know what to tell people.
Tell me where to get it.
Right.
Yeah.
Here's where you want to go. Now, on a more serious note, I do feel like it's a big decision for a lot of people. Maybe for folks that are like in our age group,
Yeah.
it's not a big of a deal because it's like, oh, you know what? You can just use some TRT and you can see if you like it. It's not going to, I'll tell you this, it's not going to hurt anything to experiment with it, especially at our age. At a younger age, it's
That's
like,
where it's more dicey.
it's like, I don't know, man. Like if you were on for a couple years and you wanted to be real big and then you weren't able to have kids later on or something, it's like, I don't know if I would blame the steroids or not. It seems like your sperm count and
What's
all
the
these
best
things.
one though?
What's the best steroid to take?
Yeah. Because there's like so many names out there. Like
Yeah.
what's the thing that like,
The thing that moves the needle the most is testosterone.
yeah?
Just flat out testosterone.
Flat out T.
Flat out testosterone. And taking like mild amount of testosterone, it'll jack your testosterone up, which will help you gain more muscle mass. It won't have too many negative side effects. We start to take larger amounts of testosterone. That's where your estrogen and those other things, those other hormones can kind of push up as well.
What about HGH? That's what all the ball players were doing for a while. Is that a good one?
What happens with things like growth hormone and insulin, like if you were to just take growth hormone and insulin, you would probably look phenomenal. You'd probably be like big and jacked and everything.
I'm in. I'm fucking in. Stop talking.
The issue is that, I mean, there's several issues, especially when it comes to insulin, but there's some issues with, you just have to take it often. You got to, pin yourself pretty much every day. Some of these bodybuilders are pinning themselves multiple times a day, taking shots multiple times a day. They're using different types of insulin to shuttle carbohydrates and nutrients into the muscle. So you get into this thing where you all of a sudden like become like a chemist and you become like a scientist and you're sitting there trying to figure out.
And when you get off that stuff, everything.
So then you end up with the, and then what?
Right.
So if you and I were like, hey man, let's figure out a way for you to lose 40 pounds and we're just going to get you just super dialed in. We want to do a photo shoot or something.
Yeah.
You end up in that same spot. You end up in that spot. And then what? What's your recovery going to be like from that? It's going to suck because we're going to have you lose too much weight too fast. You're going to pull off muscle mass as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then so on the back end of that, when you go to come out of that, it's going to be very difficult for you to, you're just going to look flat. You're going to look kind of skinny fat and all those kinds of things. So you always have to kind of think in life, in business, in the gym, any of these things, you got to think,
fuck.
and then what am I going to do? So if you
what you're
take,
telling me is to take the long road and do the work like a fucking loser.
there are some good companies out there that can help a lot when it comes to like getting blood work done and examining whether you should take that leap. But steroids won't do for you. They won't make your decisions for you. Like you said earlier, like you got to do it yourself.
Yeah.
So there's not a steroid or a pill currently that I know of that is going to encourage you to make better decisions all the time. Although potentially there could be certain things that do that. But one thing that testosterone does that is undersold is it does give you a lot of zip and a lot of just like motivation. So one time on my YouTube channel, I was looking at, somebody had a comment and they said, well, it's easier for you to do all this shit and to be fired up every day because you're on steroids. And I read it and I was like, I don't know if that makes, and I was like, I think it does make sense. I was like, this guy's right. So for somebody that's kind of down and I've heard of some doctors even handling depression. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not prescribing this, but I've heard of some people saying that it could be something that could help certain people with certain types of depression. So,
Well, and there you have it. We did not tell you what to do or whether or not you should do it. This is all your choice. Talk to your doctor and don't think that you can actually hold us accountable for your failing health.
Bert and Tom, Tom and Bert. One goes topless while the other wears a shirt. Tom tells stories and Bert's the machine. There's not a chance in hell that they'll keep it clean. Here's what we call two bears, one cave.